Okay, so how does mindfulness work? Well, our thoughts become our reality, and our focus grows our reality. When we get caught in a thought pattern that produces stress, anxiety, or depression, we need to be aware of the pattern and then be able to break it and return to the present moment. Think of your thoughts as cars on a highway. Sitting and watching the cars drive by, you may notice some cars are fancy, some cars are beat up, and others are driving erratically. Noticing the cars and their conditions are fine, but you would never run onto the highway and hop on the back of a bumper of a fancy car or step in front of a speeding car. Yet we do this with our thoughts, many times throughout the day. Mindfulness provides us a way to notice the cars as they pass, accept that there are cars on the highway, and return to our activity in the present moment. While mindfulness is currently a hot topic, it's a concept that has been around for 1,500 years or more. So why is mindfulness so important to our well-being? Well, our ancestors lived in a world of constant danger. The African savannas were filled with large, dangerous animals, poisonous snakes, and other humans with less than pleasant intentions for our well-being. Our brains were scanning the environment nonstop, looking for danger. And when it found danger, our sympathetic nervous system kicked into high gear. This puts us into a fight or flight mode, tensing our muscles, focusing our attention, and releasing adrenaline and stress hormones like cortisol throughout our bodies. This state of stress was designed to be a temporary one, allowing us to get out of danger. A fight would only last a few minutes, as would a retreat from danger. We could then take some time to calm down and be back on our way. Despite what happens at a library board or faculty meeting, the modern world is extremely safe. Most of our brains never have to worry about a charging rhinoceros, but that does not mean our brains stop scanning the environment for danger. Now, however, instead of finding poisonous snakes, or is it a stick, our brains find looming deadlines, upcoming financial obligations, and a never-ending stream of work that needs to be done. We can start by thinking of an upcoming deadline, and before we know it, we're thinking about deadlines, appointments, and commitments 9 months out. The same can happen going backward in our thoughts. We can think of something we should have said at that meeting 2 days ago, and in no time flat, we're thinking about the embarrassing scene we made in the middle school cafeteria. This moving forward with our thoughts leads to stress, and then moving back leads to depression. We can also start arguing with ourselves about whether we really want to eat some cookies or not. This back and forth between pro and con can build up a thought so big that we need to act on it by eating entirely too many cookies. These dangers of the modern world rev up our sympathetic nervous system. But instead of a temporary spike that helps us overcome the danger, our bodies experience prolonged states of stress, which they were never intended to do. This can lead to health problems, diminished cognitive functioning, and unhealthy ways of dealing with the stress. What mindfulness allows us to do is become aware of these thought patterns while they're occurring and interrupt them, bringing our attention back to the present moment. Now, mindfulness has 4 parts. The first is noticing our thoughts as they occur. The second is acknowledging that those thoughts are there. The third part is recentering or bringing our attention back to the present moment. And the final part is meditating, which we'll discuss in more detail a bit later on. Now, the first 2 parts of mindfulness consist of 4 parts themselves. Now, the first part is recognizing when a thought or feeling has occurred. Now, this might seem obvious, but the human mind can be quite adept at ignoring and refusing to recognize what it's doing. As the old joke goes, the Nile is not just a river in Egypt. The second part is accepting of that thought or feeling. Now, this doesn't mean giving in and doing whatever pops into our heads, but accepting we have those thoughts or feelings. Too often we try to push away bad thoughts or feelings and hold on to good ones, often with disastrous results. Now, for example, you may get the thought, I want to eat some cookies. Now, acceptance entails acknowledging and living with that thought without acting on it. The third part is investigating from where that thought or feeling came. Sit with the thought or feeling and examine it instead of acting or reacting to it. Perhaps you had a stressful meeting or a fight with someone you care about. These events can cause you to seek relief in sugary desserts. Understanding what causes a thought or feeling is a key step in being able to manage that thought or feeling. Now, the final part is non-identification with that thought or feeling. Having a thought to eat cookies does not make you the cookie monster. It just means you had a thought to eat cookies. Now, mindfulness gives us a way to interrupt these thought patterns and thereby reduce stress using our breath. When our minds and attention drift, mindfulness brings us back to the present moment. Mindfulness acts as the anchor our minds need to keep from becoming lost in the stormy sea of our thoughts. When we notice our thoughts have strayed from the present moment and acknowledge those thoughts exist, we can use our breath to bring us back to the present moment. Now, just like any other skill, mindfulness takes practice, and that's what meditation is. It's practicing bringing our thoughts and bringing us back to our breath, to our present moment. And that's why in meditation we sit and we breathe and we focus on our breath. Now, some meditation practices also use a mantra instead of focusing on the breath, and that's fine if you want to do it. I just prefer focusing on the breath. You're going to see some directions in this week's activities for how to meditate, how to start a meditation practice that we can use to build up our awareness and build up our ability to recognize when our thoughts have strayed and bring it back to the present moment using our breath.